Good morning. All right, we're gonna switch it up, and today we're gonna try and do a day in the life of a talent agent. Now, usually my Fridays are pretty chill, but I woke up to a million emails and a bunch of castings, which is all good news. Obviously, a lot of the things that I do every day have me bound by an NDA, but I'm gonna try and be as open and non-gatekeepy as possible. Okay, so I always start my morning with emails. I work from home, so like looking presentable isn't really a big deal unless it's a day where I have a lot of meetings, so excuse me. Okay, so I don't have like a ton of emails, but the emails that I do have are actually like time sensitive. So anyways, the first one here, my client actually worked on a commercial yesterday, so she sent me her timesheet, which means I have to get that invoice sent out now. I use the same invoice template for everybody, so usually it's pretty simple. Okay, I just sent that email out, but it looks like I have another invoice email right here. So this client worked on a vertical. This is actually an ongoing job, so it's been really exciting for her. She's a minor. Well, she turns 18 next month, so like, but anyway, she's been very, very excited about this. Within her first like month with me, she booked a music video, and then now she's been booked on this. And I think she's done 3 separate weeks with them. They just keep asking her back because they love her. So makes me really happy as an agent to know that somebody's on set and representing herself and the agency well. Anyways, with that being said, she just finished up another week of work, so I have to send an invoice for her work this week. She only worked 2 days. In the past, it's been 3 and 4 days respectively, so a little bit less time on set this week, but still, I'm going to send out that invoice. I'll basically use the same template, just change the information with her information. Okay, and then it looks like I have one last email. So this client self-booked a project. She's actually worked with this artist in the past. It's going to be 2 music videos. The artist manager has been really nice to work with, so I do enjoy that as well. And on top of that, there are rumors that this particular artist is going to go on tour soon. So yeah, I would definitely like to maintain this relationship. However, the problem is that the pay is the same for these 2 music videos as it was for 1 music video last time. I don't know if it's the rehearsal date or the filming date, but one of the dates actually falls on Memorial Day. So technically holiday pay should be a discussion. They're also asking for the girls to dye their point shoes, which obviously once you do that, you can't use them anymore. So that's another cost. Even though they're still filming in just 1 single day, they're getting 2 music videos out of this. So I do think that should also come into consideration. And it also requires a rehearsal. The last one was they learned everything on set and filmed everything right then and there. So there's definitely some more requirements of them this time around. So I would like to see a pay increase here. But yeah, we'll just see. Okay, I just sent an email. I asked for double what's being offered. I think it's very, very fair. I still think it's on the low end. Doesn't quite reach Dancers Alliance rates, but it's pretty close to it. Hopefully I'll get an answer by the end of the day so that I can update you guys. Okay, the next thing I normally do are self-tape requests. So we have 11 to send out for print and commercial for a drink company. Doesn't pay the best, but it looks like it films on June 2nd. There's no rehearsal or fitting days, so I guess that's probably why it's lower pay. Actually, this is a really easy request. They're just asking for 3 photos, their Instagram availability for June 2nd, and then confirming that they're LA local, which they all are. This is actually going to be super quick for them to do. It's actually not due until Sunday night, so they have plenty of time to accept or decline and then submit. Alrighty, I got that sent out. Now, one extra step that I do take is messaging them directly. I have been getting a lot of excuses as to why people don't complete their self-tapes, and a lot of it is I didn't see it. So the reason I send these messages, even though maybe I shouldn't, I feel like I baby them sometimes, but when I do it this way, Casting Networks, if they have the app on their phone, they get a push notification. Casting Networks also sends an email, and now they have my message. So I just feel like there's 3 different methods, and if you still miss it, then that's on you, you know? Okay, well, this is happening in real time. I just got 2 more people added to this request, but this is for a principal role. So essentially it's the same thing. I'm going to do all the same steps. It's the same due date and everything, just different instructions for the self-tape. So anyways, I'm going to send that out right now. Okay, and now that I'm on the audition page, it looks like 3 of my clients submitted their self-tapes for other jobs that came in earlier in the week. So right now my job is to review the self-tapes, just make sure that they followed Casting's directions, because you would be surprised, people don't follow directions. And then if everything looks good, then I can forward it to Casting. Okay, as you could probably tell, the flies were out of control, so we are inside now. This submission process that I'm going to physically do right now is the one thing that I do every single day for hours a day, and that never changes. So let's get into it. One thing that I will say is that this week has been a little bit slower than usual. I wouldn't say it's been slow by any means, because we've had slow points in the industry, especially like December-ish. A lot of times it's just completely dead. So I wouldn't say it's like that, but it's definitely been slower. We have 10 castings right now. However, not all 10 of them are real. 2 of them are push postings, which basically means that I already submitted them earlier when it was first posted. Usually when they post it and they push it out again, it's for 1 of 2 reasons. Number 1 would be because they added a new role or new roles, or it could also be just they didn't get enough submissions the first time around, so they're pushing it a second time to try and get more submissions. Let's see. So for this first one, okay, it looked like they did add a new role, but sadly, I'm not going to be able to submit. They're looking for Asian men in their 40s and 50s. I don't have any Asian men, let alone in their 40s and 50s. So moving on to the next. This second one, let's see. Okay, there are 2 new roles on this one. Okay, but they're extremely specific. So the first role is for an Indian man. Once again, I don't have any Indian men on my roster, so that's not gonna work. The other role is open ethnicity, so a little bit better, still looking for men, but they want somebody with an authentic British accent, ideally from British Isles, and with martial arts and stunt experience. That is really, really specific. So I'm gonna see, but I highly doubt that I have anybody. So I guess this is probably a good time to emphasize the importance of having a completed and fully up-to-date profile on casting networks or Actors Access or whatever it is that your agent uses, or you use if you're unrepresented right now. So when I do submissions that ask for something very specific, I basically come into the filter and I toggle. So for this one specifically, we're gonna toggle for British accents and martial arts experience. Okay, surprise, surprise, nobody on the roster fits the bill. But I do want to say that a lot of people miss out on submissions just like these because they don't put all of their information. So alcohol commercials, for example, you do have to be legal 25 to work in an alcohol commercial. So if you don't have your legal age there, you're not going to get submitted. Even though you're over 25, if it's not put in the computer, you're going to get passed over. Another thing is measurements. We see this a lot with like Nike and Adidas and like other like clothing brands. We specifically do a lot of athletics, so that's kind of why I mentioned those. A lot of times they have a very specific shoe size that they have to fill or a very specific t-shirt size or whatever. And so I do have to toggle by measurements. And once again, if your measurements don't fit what they're looking for or you don't have them at all, then you don't get submitted. So that's another reason why you should have them. And then the last one is special skills, kind of exactly like with this one. We need to know, can you do a British accent? Can you do martial arts? Whatever it may be, like you just need to have that in your profile. Alrighty, moving on to the new castings that we got today. Like I said, there's 8 left. So everyone's biggest question for me usually is pay. I'm not going to go through all 8 because we would be sitting here all day. So let's open up this one first. The first thing I usually look at when submitting is book out dates, just because that's kind of the easiest one that I can go by. So this particular project, interesting. This is a really big company and they're only paying $800 per day. And that's supposed to cover session and usage, which is very, very, very low. They are going to cover the 20% agency fee, so, you know, at least we have that going for us. Any age, any gender, any ethnicity. Okay, so I probably won't do book out dates here because it says they're either going to film June 28th to July 2nd or July 5th through July 9th, but everything is subject to change. Okay, on top of that, they're hiring 8 people and only 2 people are going to shoot per day. So you don't even need to be available for the full 4-day book out. You only have to be available for 2 of the days. But once again, everything's subject to change. So I think this is a little too broad to try and do book out dates for this one. And since it's any age, any ethnicity, any gender, I'm just going to submit everybody on the roster and see who gets called back. Alrighty, let's move on to the next one. It pays $5,650. They do pay the 20% agency fee as well. Okay, this one shoots in Chicago, which means you do have to have a real ID. Oh, this is interesting. They are not booking hotel or flight. If you get booked on this, they're giving you $1,000 and you have to use that money to book all your own stuff. So that's interesting. I haven't seen that at all, I don't think. So for here, the fitting is going to be 6/1/6/2. Shoot dates are going to be once again, either 6/2/6/3 or 6/3/6/4. So they're looking for talent with open availability that week. For book out dates, we're going to do everything from June 1 to June 4 because those cover all the dates that they're looking for. I do have another way to toggle for a real ID. So this is another thing, you know, you have to make sure you have all your documents in your profile as well. Another thing, so this is something that now I have to do on my own because there is not a toggle for this, but they're asking for different hair types. So it looks like this first one is curl type 3A, 3B. It looks like they're also looking for curl type 3B, 4A, long hair that goes past the shoulders. And then they're also looking for loose curls 2C, 3A, long hair that goes past the shoulders. We do also have a Slack chat that we use, and so occasionally I'll go in there and I'll say like who has, 3A, 3B hair. But yeah, that is a little bit of a better paying commercial that we have. All right, let's do one more. Okay, so this one, there are a lot of roles, and all the roles have different pay. So for a principal role for this one, it's a $500 session fee, $1,500 usage fee, and then they also pay the 20% agency fee. This one is shooting in LA, so we don't have to worry about travel. And then this is working, correction, this is working 2 days for principal talent, so it's $500 per day for the session fee. So it'd be $1,000 altogether, plus $1,500 usage, plus 20% agency fee. So that bumps it up quite a bit. Looks like for this first principal role, they're looking for men 25 to 35, but open to all ethnicities, backgrounds, and body diversity. So I should be able to submit all of the men on my roster based on this. All right, now let's move on to females. So for the female roles, there are 3 of them. The first one, they're looking for 50 to 55. I only have one person that fits that age range, and she has not completed her profile yet. She's new, so I won't be able to submit anybody on that role. But the pay is just slightly lower, so it's $500 per day. Yes, needed both days, and then $1,000 usage. So for principal, it was $1,500. So for this role, it's just $500 less, plus the 20% agency fee. So not bad. It looks like the other female role is also same exact pay, except they're looking for ages 30 to 35. So I do have a bit of people I can submit on this. So I will once again toggle for days. Make sure that they're available on the days needed, the 27th and the 28th. Okay, and then there's one more female role. Pays slightly less. It's $450 per day for the session fee, so about $50 less. And then the age range here is 20 to 22. And I have a lot of people that fit that age range, so I'm gonna submit on this. Actually, I'm gonna do one more submission on this project. They are looking for a teenage daughter. So I have 2 teenagers. One of them turns 18 next month and the other one turns 18 in August, I believe. So anyways, they're right on the cusp of 18. So I'm actually gonna submit them as well. However, this is classified as more of like a background role. The pay is not background, it's $450 per day. However, they would not get a usage fee on this, but they still do cover the 20% agency fee. So I know both of the girls that I have on my roster would jump at this opportunity, $450 for a single day of work. Plus we're entering into summer. They're out of school already, so I do think that this would be a good opportunity that they would enjoy. So I'm going to submit them and we can see if we can get them a call back on it. Okie dokie, I feel like I just talked your guys' ears off and I'm hungry. So I'm going to go eat, and then I do have a quick meeting right when I'm done eating. I cannot record that, so I will be back after the meeting. I think, unless a bunch of castings come in, I think I'm going to do outreach. So yeah, stay tuned and let's get into that next. All right, I'm back. We moved the camera angle around so that we can keep it interesting. Okay, so as expected, no new, one casting came in. I looked at it. We don't have anybody that fits the bill, so I won't be submitting on it, but no other castings came through while I was gone. So like I said, Fridays are already slow, and on top of that, it's been a slow week. So, and it's also a long weekend. Memorial Day is on Monday, so I'm sure people are just already like clocked out. So anyways, with that being said, let's switch over to outreach and pitch decks. Okie doke. So I have been doing a lot of artist outreach lately. We have Pride and Hard Summer and all the other summer festivals that are happening right now. So that's kind of had to be my number one focus the past couple of weeks. But I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. Unless the artists are like at the top of the lineup, they're probably working with a pretty small budget, which means your dancers aren't going to get paid very much, and who would want that? So I still do that outreach. I've done all of that outreach already, and I will continue to do follow-ups and whatnot. But I just have to be smart as an agent, and you know who has essentially unlimited marketing budgets? Brands. So for me personally, I just feel like my time is better spent reaching out to brands and ad agencies and trying to get my dancers booked that way. We're gonna switch it up today, and we are gonna focus only on brands. I have already pitched a lot of the main ad agencies over the past year and a half, but they always say we'll reach out when something aligns, and then it's crickets. So I don't know, I'm gonna keep following up and we're gonna keep pushing for that, but I kind of want to take a slightly different angle today and just see if we can get better results. So as I always preach to you guys and my clients, we have to do our research. So I was able to find a handful of directors who have been hiring choreographers and dancers specifically. Some of the brands that I'm looking at for the directors were like Gap, Chanel, Adidas, etc., that kind of realm of brands who commonly highlight dancers. We are going to target them right now. Now, when it comes to artists, I feel like it's a lot easier. Like if it's a pop artist, usually I'm going to be pitching my heels choreographers, my heels dancers. If it's like electronic music, I'm probably going more for my specialty artists, my hoopers, my fire, maybe even aerial, my shufflers. Or if it's like a really alternative artist, probably contemporary. So anyways, I just feel like a lot of those artists have lanes and they usually stay within that lane. However, when it comes to brands, you just never really know who's going to be open to trying something new, because a lot of these brands are open to trying something new. You just kind of have to give them the idea and make it easy for them to say yes. There's others who are very, very passionate about what they already are doing and they want to kind of continue with that structure, which either way makes sense. But as an agent, I just have to be smart in the way that I pitch them and the way that I package them. 9 times out of 10, I probably will do a general pitch, especially if I'm doing like mass outreach. Like a lot of these ad agencies, they don't just work with one brand. They're working with a bunch of different brands. So it's more so pitching everybody on the roster as a whole. And I'm doing probably a pitch package rather than a pitch deck. Now, for today specifically, because these are directors, and usually directors have the same vibe, even if they're working with multiple different brands, which these people are, usually you can start to pick up on things that are repetitive in their work, whether it's like the color scheme, the type of dancers that they use, the overall vibe, the music. So anyways, we are going to do specific for this one. Now, pitch decks are nothing that I can do on my own. The pitch decks have to come directly from creative directors or choreographers on my roster. So what I can do is send out a blast to everybody and say, hey, get your pitch decks to me. I would like to pitch X, Y, and Z. But today specifically, I only have a list of 5 people that I want to pitch. And I feel like I have front runners in my mind for each of these people, to be honest. And that's not to say that I want to exclude anybody, but I also just want to make sure that our agency is putting our best foot forward. I know I'm being kind of vague. Unfortunately, I just have to be. I just feel like every single thing that I do has to be very, very specific, and there has to be a purpose behind it. And unfortunately, I can't always just like give all the information away because then what would I be needed for? So yeah, that's kind of a glimpse into pitch packages or just pitches in general. Okay, so I just got all of the emails ready to send, but a little tip I'll give you guys. You have to be smart about when you're sending this stuff, especially in this industry. People are like crazy about the time. Like if you send it out the wrong time, they're gonna delete it because you just don't know what you're doing. And I think that's rude. I don't operate like that, but I know that's how others operate. So if I were to send this email right now, a few problems. It's Friday afternoon and we're about to hit a holiday weekend, as I mentioned. So I will most definitely get lost in the inbox. By the time they return to office on Tuesday, it's gonna be like, so instead I am scheduling these for Wednesday. I just feel like Tuesday they're going to be playing catch up from the long weekend, and you know, I could shoot for Tuesday afternoon, but I just feel like Wednesday is going to be safer. So the 2 times that I like to do are 10 a.m. I am going to send out a total of 7 emails. So I don't want to do all 7 at the same time. I don't want to get flagged for spam. I'm going to do like 3 of them at 10 a.m. and then 4 at 1:30. Most people are going to work at 8, 9 a.m. I'm spending about an hour or so on emails. So then by 10 a.m., hopefully their inbox is kind of cleared out a little bit. So then when mine comes through, it's something fresh. Same thing for 1:30. Typically people go to lunch until 1 or 1:30. So this will be like one of the first things that they see after lunch. Okay, it has been a day. It's only 4 o'clock, so I've got another hour or so on the clock, but I'm not seeing any more castings right this second. So I'm gonna head back outside, hang out with the dogs for a little bit, and if anything comes through, of course, I'll pop you back up. But yeah, I'll check in with you at 5 o'clock, and then we will clock out for the long weekend. Alrighty, it is about 4:50 p.m. I'm not seeing any new castings, no new audition requests or emails. One thing that I know for a fact, though, this industry is literally 24/7. So I'm gonna call it a day for right now, but I'll probably get stuff coming in tonight and all throughout the weekend. So, all right, this sun is like not cooperating right now. So anyways, I hope this gave you at least a little insight into what life looks like for a talent agent. Obviously no 2 days are ever the same, but for the most part I think we did all of like the most common job functions that I do. Anyways, if you guys have questions or want insight into anything specific, of course leave a comment. Obviously I do have to be careful just because of the NDAs and you know all the secrecy that's involved in this job, but I will always try to be as open as possible. Have a wonderful day.